Welcome to the second episode of TED Talk by La French Tech Indonesia, the show where we dive into the world of entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. I'm Reza Pirnazar, your host, and today we have an exciting episode lined up for you. Before we dive into our conversation with our special guests, let's take a moment to explore the vibrant and dynamic startup scene in Indonesia. Indonesia, known for its stunning landscape, diverse culture, and warm hospitality, has been making waves in the world of tech and innovation. With a population of over 270 million people, is the fourth most populous country on the planet and presents an enormous market opportunity for startups. Over the past decade, Indonesia has witnessed a remarkable growth in its tech ecosystem. The nation's capital, Jakarta, is often referred to as the Silicon Valley of Southeast Asia. Startups here are thriving, driven by a young and tech-savvy population eager to embrace digital solutions. Now, let's turn our attention to today's guests. Bruno Zisman, a seasoned entrepreneur and a true tech visionary, has played a pivotal role in shaping the Indonesian tech landscape. Bruno's journey in the tech industry began when he created his company specializing in loyalty and digital payment solutions, which he later sold to Ingenico, a major player in the payment industry. This marked the start of a remarkable career. For over 3 decades, Bruno has been a driving force in Southeast Asia, developing tech companies and consulting on digital transformation, but it's his latest venture that has truly caught our attention. Since 2001, Bruno Zisman has been the founder of CleanMedic Indus, a groundbreaking digital platform that's revolutionizing the collection and disposal of medical waste. CleanMedic Indus connects clinics, hospitals, and even tattoo studios with transporters, streamlining the entire process, helping waste producers to be more compliant with the local regulations on infectious waste and contributing to a cleaner, more sustainable Indonesia. Today, we are honored to have Bruno Zisman join us on Tech Talk by La French Tech Indonesia to share his insight into entrepreneurship, the tech ecosystem in Indonesia, and the transformative impact of CleanMedic Indus. Get ready for an enlightening and inspiring conversation. Without further ado, let's welcome Bruno Zisman to the show. Bruno, thank you for joining us today. Hi, Bruno.
Hi, Reza.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thanks.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to join this second episode of a podcast from French Tech Indonesia, Tech Talk. So we are going to go directly to the questions. I hope it's good for you. So
Yeah,
I
that's
have
good.
I have very many questions to ask you. So I'm gonna ask you just like this, straightforward, and then we see where it takes us. So what I would like to know first is, you tell us about your inspiration behind starting CleanMedic. What motivated you to create a medical waste management app in Indonesia?
Okay, well, first of all, the idea came in 2021 when COVID was really present, and of course, it was a very significant disruption, and medical waste were sent in the landfills and everywhere, and it was really a big problem. So at this time, I was already thinking what I could do to solve this problem in Bali, because I was in Bali. And I had a friend which is the founder of Clean company, which is the incinerator in Bali for medical waste, who approached me to find an application to transport the medical waste. And I look at everywhere and find it. And finally, I say why we don't develop it. So I build a document of 400 pages, and the idea came to me to do an operator like Gojek like means to not work only for one factory, but to work for all the medics and all the possible factory in Indonesia. And when I met him to show him, he said, "Okay, go, let's go do it." So that was the start idea of the startup, which came in October 21. And then we created the company officially in April 22, the time to set up all the details. And the idea was really because I saw that doing this kind of job was requesting expertise in many domains like healthcare, logistics, IT, cloud computing. So it was very interesting for me because I was coming from this world before. I had experience in IT. And it was also a challenge for the regulatory compliance, which is quite complex in Indonesia. I knew it, but after I did it, now I understand that I knew only maybe 2% of it. Now I know a lot. And it was very interesting for me to build a sustainable and safe solution for Bali and for Indonesia. So it's not only a question to build a startup, but to give from me that I could give something to Indonesia after my career in the tech. I switched to tech for good, and it was for me a very good last line in my professional life.
Cool. So can you tell us a little bit about how KinMedic works and what sets it apart from other waste management solutions?
Okay. Well, if in very short, we have built a digital platform to handle the medical waste management. Means where now everything is traditionally handled, means trucks are coming when they can to fetch medical waste and to bring them to a factory or to release them in landfills because it still happen. We have a digital platforms and we answer very fast to any query because our logistics is organized by computing. Means we have algorithm to fetch the road and to create tours and we are able to collect the same day or the next day or according to a program of collect. So we bring something totally new in this business. Is a breakthrough, is a real innovation that now when a doctor, when a clinic wants to collect, they just press a button and a truck is coming and collect. And this is totally new. They never seen that before. And this is really the way we work today. So it's a digital platform with lots of people behind because we have a development team which is improving our system from day to day. We have an operational team with drivers and with warehouse men, and that's quite with operators that are working by shift to make sure that things are reliable and fast on a fast move. We are regular, we are seamless, and we are really we really reduce environmental impact and public health problem because as we have a platform, we really on time and the waste are really collected on time and they are not hanging inside the premise with the smell and the infectious risk that it can give. And we are really going to the end of the process because we are collecting, we are transporting, we are delivering to the factory, and when the waste are burned, we give a certificate of burn. So means we really do something from A to Z, and we satisfy the regulatory measures of Indonesia in medical waste.
Great. Could you share some success stories or notable experiences from clinics and hospitals that have benefited from KinMedic services?
Well, we are in process, so we have today we have quite a lot of dentists, we have some clinics, but the most impressive for me is that we started not with medics, but with paramedics and with businesses that have nothing to do with medical. It's all what is around tattoo, spa, salon, where they generate infectious waste related to the regulation in Indonesia, and they must burn. They must burn all what is coming from a tattoo studio, all what is coming from a spa must be burned. And we start by this because at the beginning it was easier for us to approach those people because of the regulation, which is less complex. And it was really a success. We did an exhibition in June this year, and we get a bunch of tattoo studios who start to work with us to purchase collect service. You have to know that we give free containers. Our containers are free. So they start to buy collect service, we deliver containers, and we collect when it's full. And then we did a dentist event last month, and we have today 40 dentists which have started to collect. So it's a very fast growth because you have to understand that they have to download an app and they have to register and they have to give all that data, and then they can start to order collect service, and we can start to deliver the containers, and we start to collect 2 weeks, 3 weeks after when it's full. So that's the way it happened, and it's very interesting in terms of penetration of the market, which is either medics or non-medics.
Okay, so now that you have this experience in the entrepreneurship area and then green tech area, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneur looking to start a tech-based startup, especially those aiming to address environmental and healthcare related challenges?
The first thing is a market study. You have to do really market research to know where you put your feet, especially in Indonesia, where it's a huge country, and you really have to understand where you put your feet and how you are going to go to organize your growth, because the growth can happen very fast, but you must be really ready. This is one point. The second point is that when you are in the waste management, when you are in the healthcare, because it's a medical waste, there is lots of regulation, and you are ready to comply. You have to be ready to understand the regulation and to comply to this regulation. I can tell you that you change 1 point on a scheme or on a text and it doesn't work, you are rejected. Indonesia had made a great efforts in the regulation for medical waste, and it's not easy to cope to this regulation. We failed many times. It took us 1 year to get a license. So you have to be ready to spend a lot of time, to spend a lot of money, because you have to wait and your company must run. So you are spending money, but you cannot make any revenue because you cannot operate without license. So you must be solid. You must know your market. You must have a good product, and you must have also a good user experience in your product to get a fast adoption.
Okay. So I want to ask another question, but it's not related to this part of your life, but a little bit related still, is about your past. So how because you're living in Indonesia, I said in the presentation, you're living in Indonesia since already several years, maybe
a lot.
dozens of years, right? It's more than how long? 20 years you're living here, on and off?
Yeah, much more, but with a part share with Singapore, and let's say that in the APAC region, at least 30 years. Yes.
Yeah,
And
you're
Indonesia,
always been related to Indonesia somehow.
Yeah, always,
So
always.
yeah, so how this experience in Indonesia influence your approach to entrepreneurship and business?
Well, there is a lot of things to say here, because when you enter Indonesia the first time, you see Indonesia a much different way than when you have started to build businesses, and when you succeed or you fail, because everybody fail or succeed. First of all, there is a cultural adaptation. There is a very big cultural sensitivity for the business, and you really have to tailor your business to regional approach. Then you have also to really establish local collaborations to foster the melting pot of cultures that are existing here and to integrate and adapt to businesses. You have also to understand the to do a risk assessment because we are in a tropical countries which there is side effects like earthquakes. In Bali we have earthquakes every day actually, yeah? Bigger one sometimes, but every day you see your glass tumbling on the table, so you have these kind of issues that you have really to handle. But in counterpart, since we are speaking of Bali because we're established in Bali, you really have a work-life balance. Because when you create a startup, when you're a creator, you don't take holidays for many years until the company can sustain. And when you do that, how do you do your work-life balance? We can do it in Bali because in Bali you have fantastic beaches, you have mountains, and you can just escape half a day and breathe and come back and ready to continue. It's my experience. Okay. But also, yeah, you have to think that when you go through all Indonesia, you have a problem of a geographical problem because Indonesia is huge, and you need really to understand how you can reach this country because it's a real challenge to have a so big country with so many people also. So uh, I love Indonesia. The people are fantastic. The culture is a melting pot and it's very interesting to get in. Um, and then when it comes to entrepreneurship, you have to understand how to work with those people and how to integrate with those communities to make sure that you can have your business and develop it.
Yeah, talking about culture and differences, are there any cultural or societal aspects of Indonesia that have shaped your perspective on sustainable waste management and environmental initiatives?
Yes, actually, first of all, there is a big religious diversity in Indonesia. As you know, the number of religions, there is 6 official religions, Islam, Protestantism, Catholicism, Hinduism, and Buddhism, and Confucianism also. So the environmental education is very different according to the culture, first of all. So this is very important because at a certain point, we have to educate the market because the Indonesian market is not educated for the waste management and for the environmental initiative. It's really the start now. It's starting, but a lot has to be done. Then there is the local influence of Javanese and Islamic society and Indonesian culture, which means a lot in local traditions and customs into waste management. And this is also making a big difference that we have to foster and to understand to bring the business in. Language, ethnic backgrounds, the regional linguistic approach is all that is very important also in the waste management. And then there is the historical fusion because Indonesia has a very rich fusion of local culture and foreign culture, customs, and it's a blended approach, and you have really to understand it to be able to develop a business and to manage waste. An example is, for example, Indonesia is very poor in waste management, but it's starting to get better with the regulation. But you have some WHO regulations to separate the trash in different types, which are reaching now the hospitals, and you have to cope with on one hand with this kind of regulations, which is very complicated, and on the other hand, finding plastics and maskers in rivers, and to try to collect them, whatever it costs, like some NGOs are doing today and some companies are doing today. So it's really a melting pot of regulations and totally blended from abroad and from Indonesia that you have to handle. This is a challenge. Sorry.
Can you share any unique challenges or opportunities you've encountered while doing business in Indonesia compared to your experience in other countries?
Yeah, well, there is 2 things. There's the challenges and there's the opportunities. Okay. If we speak about challenge, you have a data security challenge when you are dealing with healthcare regulations for medical waste. That's this business. Data security in Indonesia is not very well managed, and this is very important because our data are really confidential. what is going out from a clinic, what is going to be incinerated, can really give very important insights on what the clinic is doing, what kind of client they get, and so on, what they are doing. And here we have a real problem that must be solved. And then there is also lots of local regulation. So we need to navigate in different set of regulations locally compared to other countries, which could really present a unique challenge. And this is really a big problem. But you have also big opportunities because the market potential is huge. Indonesia is huge. It's a huge country with numerous number of people, 280 million people, which give really healthcare opportunities because even with the tourism, which is redeveloping now after COVID, healthcare is doing a boom. And the government is starting to open healthcare since we start to have foreign doctors coming in, one foreign doctors for 10 local in hospital. So there is really a big potential development of the healthcare in Indonesia. And also Indonesia is doing a big sustainability push. We can see that even if we are not there, there is a lot of sustainable development and digital transformation that occurs. Even the medical waste, there is some part of the medical waste for big hospitals that are digitalized by the government itself within the United Nations. So it's very interesting because it's really my expertise in digital transformation and the expertise of our team. So this is really a good opportunity.
So talking about Indonesia, Indonesia has been emerging as a tech hub in Southeast Asia. How do you see the future of the tech ecosystem evolving in Indonesia, and what role can startups like CleanMedic Indus play in this transformation?
Well, first of all, Indonesia, you see very substantial big investment in technology. You will even see unicorn in the technology, and you see GoTo, Gojek company, what they have done in terms of platform development, which is what we try to be assimilated to, even if we are very small today. You can see that the technology is really pushing, and there is huge investment in this country. Ministry of Finance is predicting the technology could act as much as $2.8 trillion in the economy by 2040. So it's very, very important. There is lots of government support with some projects in West Java and some support of tech industry. The government is really starting to support the tech. It's really important. And then you have also a big year of involvement. The young people, the engineers, has been inspired to innovate. It also feels like wireless digital applications, starting AI and those kind of things. So this is really the country's tech future. Also, the startups like CleanMedic can focus on specific sectors, like what we are doing today, like healthcare and environmental technology, and we can play in a pivotal role in filling gaps and innovations, bringing new ideas and methods for sustainable and efficient systems, and that's what we try to do today. And if we understand local challenges, we can provide customized solutions also, which is really a solution in the tech ecosystem of Indonesia to be understood very well, to be developed in this way, because there's a lot of local differences comparing to a country like in Europe where it's the same. There is no difference. There is no local differences.
You are one of the founder members of La French Tech Indonesia. And you are here obviously since long time. Are there any specific trends or developments in the Indonesian tech industry that excites you the most, or areas where you see significant potential for growth and innovation?
There is specific trends of development. First of all, there is economic growth through technology today. We have a big adoption of technology. We have a big e-commerce penetrations. Indonesia had a very low penetration. In 2018, it was 11.8%. In 2022, it became 15%. And now it's growing very fast, especially after COVID. Internet access, even if it's still not easy to have internet everywhere in Indonesia, we have everybody now, thanks to smartphones, that have access to internet. And we have a lot of third-party technology innovation accelerators that are helping the young to develop business like cloud analytics, big data analytics, sorry, so cloud computing and social networking and mobile applications. So yes, there is a specific trends of development that shows that Indonesia is going to burst, and it's very exciting because when I arrived in Indonesia, the first time I put a feet in Indonesia 30 years ago, I can tell you that there was nothing like this, and to create a company was a hell. It took so long. You can take to create a PMA could take 1 year to get the license. Now you can have it in 2 weeks because everything is digitalized online. Indonesia has made a great effort, and it's very exciting now to come to Indonesia to challenge in this business, in the business in innovation and technology. Very interesting. So for the French state, for the startups that are coming in Indonesia, we can encourage them, and we can make sure that they have all the tools to develop the business, the incubators, the right technology at hand, and also the investors who could also put a lot of money in the business if they think that the project is valid and is good.
Okay, great. In your opinion, what are some of the key factors that will be essential for Indonesia to continue fostering a thriving tech ecosystem and attracting talent and investment?
Okay, I can speak about it because I'm in the middle of it with the startup. First of all, the education and skill first must really improve. There must be a strong emphasis on education is critical. Because Indonesia doesn't need only to import talent from abroad, but need to generate and to create talents. This is very important to deploy the technology here. Infrastructure also is really important. Fast internet, data centers, transport connectivity must be developed. It's on the way, but it's still a long way to reach what is needed today. On fiscal policies also, startups don't have any incentives when they create a company. There is some kind of incentive, but it's not like in Europe when you can have for 5 years, you have no tax at all. And I think that Indonesia should develop a tax incentive scheme for startups. It's very important. IMF said it. They underlined this point to Indonesia. We are just before a change of president because next year will be the presidential election. So today we have a political stability, but the political stability must sustain because nobody will want to come to Indonesia. No talent will come to Indonesia if there is no stability in politics, even if youngs are not always doing politics. It's very important to observe this and to have this political stability. Then we have all what is related to climate change and social inequalities that must also be really managed correctly. And the tech industry could become more sustainable in Indonesia to under the climate change and all those are the problems. That's why we are also part of it as CleanMedic, because Clinic Industry, because we are managing what is public health threat and environment. But this is a long run. It's not going to happen tomorrow morning. It's going to take time. And then global partnership are really important. Indonesia must be seen in the world like a global country. Like the G20 in Bali was a very good event because it puts Indonesia to the world level. But it must continue with other initiatives, not only this one. And this is something that is very important because it will attract the attention of foreign investors. And this is very important to bring money in the country.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Indonesia is on the right path and they have to continue. And it's a real huge market that need to be addressed in the right way.
Absolutely.
So last question, how do you envision CleanMedic contributing to Indonesia's broader sustainability and environmental efforts as the country continues to develop and modernize?
First of all, by leveraging a digital platform, CleanMedic Indus enable healthcare facility to track medical waste. This is very important from collection to generation, and it ensures safer and cleaner waste management practice. So this is very important in terms of efforts that Indonesia must do, and we are contributing to that. The second thing is the contribution to decarbonization, because we estimate that CleanMedic can help nation decarbonization efforts by adopting low carbon technologies in waste management processes. So we are today optimizing the truck path. We move a truck to collect only when we are sure there is medical waste to collect by digital notifications, which can cancel a truck for the next day and those kind of things. And we're going to improve that. And then we have to think about what is the alignment of CleanMedic Indus on the future healthcare goal in Indonesia. The healthcare ecosystem is undergoing significant change. Until 2030, we see already what's happening. There's lots of things which become digital, and we can position ourselves as a front runner for the sustainability healthcare solutions and really fitting the environment for the future of Indonesia healthcare. And that's where we position the company today.
Thank you so much for doing what you do, because I think we need more people like you taking care of the waste and what's thrown in the rivers, and there is a huge work to do in Indonesia, and a lot of companies already started doing really good job. And I really believe that your company and also Clean is one of those contributing to Indonesia's future. Bruno, thank you so much for your time. Would you like to say a last word as a conclusion?
Yes. Yes, I would like to say something that, yes, you're right. We are really contributing to the environment, and we try to do a big impact, even if we are a trade company, because we are doing business, right? We need to make revenues and profits like any companies. Since we are recognized by the government as by getting the license, which help us to collect and to deal with hazardous waste and biohazard waste. It shows that the tech really allow us to penetrate this for Indonesia and to really do something good for the environment. So it's not only a trade company, but it's also a tech for good company. And I want to insist on that we call clean tech or green tech. That's what we are really, because all our team in Bali, we are now 30 people. They are all totally, they adopt totally our way of thinking and doing, because they really want their island to be clean, and they want to develop all the business in Indonesia as soon as possible.
Great. Bruno, thank you so much for your time and accepting my invitation to join this podcast. See you on the next podcast. Hopefully I will have somebody really interesting also. So keep in touch and see you very soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks.